Take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been to a parade, watching a soldier in uniform yelling at his unit and wondered how he or she lined up their crowd in an orderly fashion, then you would assume that I'll be discussing this portion of the topic about the military. Alright, this topic is officer career fields. Tell you a little bit about myself. I've served over 20 years in the Army. My background is infantry. I mean, a non-commissioned officer. But I am an instructor here to go ahead and explain to you about officer career fields. This program is a gateway to officership and preparation for a career as a leader in charge of soldiers. And you have different branches. People see the United States Army with helicopters, tanks, parachutes, and soldiers. The Army is much more than this, okay? But we will transition and we'll go ahead and go straight into maneuver, fires, and effects. When I talk about maneuver, you're talking about weapon systems that are on tanks, or you have aviation assets, the helicopters that you can go ahead and maneuver within the battlefield. Also maneuvering troops on the ground. We talk about the type of fires, and you also have like the field artillery. All right. So here are some examples on this next slide. As you can see, the aviation, they're always about their air power. The rotary wing aircraft. You've got Chinooks, you've got Blackhawks, Cobras. All right, different types of aircraft that's available. When I say Chinooks, there are cargo helicopters that can also move soldiers within the battlefield. All right, let's see. Combat arms will always capture the hearts and minds of the warriors, protecting lives and fighting against the enemy through maneuver and movement. So these are some of the examples that you can go ahead and get into if this is what you'd like to do. With the air defense artillery, you can see that they hold the missiles, the rockets. They can go ahead and watch your skies. So if you have anything that may be incoming, those are the individuals that will go ahead and protect our nation. With the infantry, as you can tell, just looking at the infantry, you have ground soldiers. But there's a lot of activities that they can execute. Within this branch, you can lead infantry soldiers on the ground, ranging from 42 to almost 200 personnel, all depending who's attached to you when you serve as a company commander. You can move forces on the ground, or even in the water, or even crossing mountains. So if this is something that you'd like to do within these portions of the branches, this could be available to you. All right. If this is not something that you would like to do, and Combat Arms is not a good branch for you, and you just want to remain operational, you can still serve in the United States Army in force sustainment. Force sustainment, you can be in corps like the finance portion of it. Finance branch, as you can see on the right-hand side of the slide here, is payroll. Okay, they deal with money, and a lot more than just for us to go ahead and receiving a paycheck. But there's more to that they can cover. With the Ordnance Corps, you think about large portions of equipment, firepower, talking about weapons and ammunition that can be stored and also moved around the world or within our location to go ahead and provide that support for us. They can also move large equipment from one location to another instead of having to drive it there. Those are the things that this branch would be responsible for. If this is not for you, you also have the operations support. For the ranks of this operation, right? You're trying to figure out, in order to execute a mission, information is needed and it has to be passed securely from one location to another. Military intelligence and the Signal Corps would be a great start for your career, all right? But it doesn't stop here, okay? This is a challenge that you can choose to take in your career. So these career fields can help you with opportunities in the Army, but it doesn't stop here. You can utilize this experience that you've got here in the Army and then take it on out there in the civilian world. So with gathering and passing information, there are agencies out there still available for you. With the Signal Corps, All right, you're not just talking about tactical communications, not just radios. All right, you still have computers and other phone systems that you can utilize out there. Again, these are career fields that can still set you up for success. All right, now, if those three areas is not good enough for you, and you still want a better challenge in your life, then you might want to consider the Green Beret. All right, Special Operations Forces, or SOF. All right. How do you get into the mix of this? All right, they do so many things. As you gain experience in your career field, you may have the passion for more responsibility. Special Operations Forces is a non-accessions branch, which will require you to serve another branch before transitioning within this specialty. All right, so those are some good examples that you can think about getting to officer career fields. Okay. But here, you can begin in ROTC, and with that being said is, while you get an education here, is you can go ahead and have time through officership to identify the proper officer career field for yourself. All right, so this is first-hand leadership, and getting an education at the same time would be good for you. You're never alone when deciding a career field. Again, that officership among your peers, you guys can move forward towards that. Let's see, in closing, there are numerous career fields. Again, I've identified, what do you call that, maneuver, fires and effects, the combat arms. You have force sustainment. You've also, I've discussed with you the operations support, having to be military intel personnel or within the Signal Corps. And then you have the Special Operations Forces. Again, this is just a small portion of what you can figure out here in the Army, but there's tons of opportunities. So getting into the mix of it, this is where you can get it. There are numerous career fields to choose from. Be proactive and prepare early to accept your upcoming profession in your life, your career. Leadership, it's your excellence. These are some of the references that you can go to as I have reviewed to get the information that I just briefed to you. You have the officership model, careers in the United States Army, and brothers retires after long careers with the Corps. All right, things that they've had, go ahead and pass on to you. Those are some of the information I received.